Are you someone who's had a lack of energy recently? Maybe a lack of confidence or belief in yourself, and maybe you're in a bit of a dark place? Well, today I'm going to give you 3 things that have really helped me increase my energy, my belief in myself, even when times are tough. So, welcome back to the podcast today. Thank you for being here. So, I wanted to touch on something that's really helped me work through some challenges in my life. And I've been in a place where I've been very ill, just like had a cold or like a fever or something like that, and exhausted. And I knew that came from just too much stress, too much overthinking, and quite honesty. Obviously, we can feel ill from time to time, but I knew from me, it was like overworking, tiredness, overthinking, all these kind of like pressures, and I wasn't emotionally managing myself. And quite honestly, it was exhausting me to places where I'm excited to get up. I'm like thriving on life. I'm enjoying life. And really, I realized there are certain things I did. And from what I'd learned, what I'd applied that really helped me. And just learning something is not going to change your life. Like, there's many people who listen to podcasts and they're like, okay, that's inspirational, but I don't really feel like I'm moving forward. And if you're that kind of person, like, I want you to, if you resonate with the challenge that I'm going to share with you, I want you to take not 100 things, just one thing and just implement it in your life, because you are not going to change your life by just listening to things and going, oh, that's very inspirational. That's the problem I see many, many times. It's people saying, I'm listening to all these free videos and put all this information. I'm like, are you applying it consistently? And it's often no, right? Or reading something or looking at something once in a while or applying something once in a while is not going to make a difference. So I realized when I started really applying things and started getting results, it wasn't a coincidence, right? So I've totally been there, like not feeling good about life, not very good in my health. And I term health as mentally and physically. I'm being really, really stuck. So today I just wanted to share 3 main things that have really helped me change and from a dark place into having a lot more energy. And it's not an overnight thing. I don't mean like I'm feeling in the depths of depression and darkness and hating my life. And I've, definitely been close there. To like suddenly the next day I'm like sunshines, lollipops and rainbows and I'm skipping about and all those kind of things. What I'm talking about is the transition of raising your levels of energy and mood. And of course, it's life. It's not going to be like a high. You get to a high and then you're constantly on a like high, although there's people who are like majority of the time. There's ups and downs, right? Yet these 3 things have really helped me maintain a high level of energy and belief in myself. And I make mistakes. I can go wrong. And I notice when I'm not feeling so good in life that I'm not actually following these 3 things. So I want to go through these 3 things that I think it's really important to focus on. Now, you can continue doing what you're doing and think, oh, I'm going to listen to some stuff and not apply it. But what's that going to get you? Ask yourself that question. What results are that going to get you? Probably the same. Okay, so let's go through, and I want to ask you questions that you can answer, right? I can teach where I'm coming from and you can take on board what you want to, but you've got to ask yourself those tough questions sometimes. And I'm going to do that through this episode today, just to ask you, not making any assumptions, just offering you some coaching on this podcast. So 1, energy. Are you putting things into your system that are giving you energy, or are you doing things that are depleting your energy? Energy is essential. It is the foundation of everything. And when I've got high energy, I actually attract a lot more things. And if you don't believe that, oh, it's that frequency, la-di-da, like spiritual stuff, I didn't either, right? Until I got and some people are on board with this stuff, some aren't, right? But as someone very left-brained and like logical sequence kind of thing, not like things are going to puff out of air and stuff like that. What I started doing, not that I've seen that yet, is I wrote down in the journal every single day, right? When I'm in high energy, what is showing up? When I'm in low energy, what is happening, right? Chances are when I was in high energy, I had ideas, being waves, opportunities would come my way. But then when that keeps happening, it's not a coincidence. I know there's something to having high energy, right? When I was in low energy, perhaps when I drank too much, a typical one, when I get low frequency is a hangover or something like that. And I've had that many, many times in my life, horrendously drinking in my 20s and even early 30s, right? I noticed like things got tougher, or I didn't get so many ideas, or I just didn't believe in life, right? So for me, energy is the essential, and that's going to raise your frequency. You're going to feel good. You're going to attract things. You're going to have more ideas. You're going to be able to do more. So ask yourself, are you putting in, and I've been guilty of being like, I feel rubbish, or things are hard. But then I have to ask myself the question, am I doing things to reinforce good energy, or am I doing things to reinforce bad energy? And obviously I want to reinforce the good energy. Now, of course, there's things like food and drink are going to make a difference on your energy, right? But then there's also thoughts and the information you're taking in. But with like food and drink, asking yourself, am I dominantly, and it's not about being a perfect clean eater, right? Right. Now, I just recently got a new fitness app actually from a great influencer called Mike Thurston, who's in super shape because I want to like up my body even more, not to show it off. Well, obviously I'm going to, if I was on the beach, I would show off my body, right? I'm not going to lie, but it's for me. So I have good energy dominantly, right? And I feel good. I have to ask myself a question. Am I doing things like, and that, let's go back to the point. Am I dominantly doing things that are good for my body, or am I doing things that are not so good for my body and my mind, right? It's not about being perfect, right? So it's not that you've got to eat like lettuce, all these things 100% of the time, right? Go and have your pizza, go and have your treats, these kind of things, right? You can have like, if you're someone who can have a couple of pints a week or a glass of wine or whatever at the weekend and you enjoy it and it's not a problem, and maybe have a snack, a cheat like once a week or a couple of times a week or small or whatever. And that's great. That's amazing. But if you're dominantly putting in rubbish, like high amounts of alcohol every day, high amounts of junk food, your energy is going to impact. That's a low frequency. And therefore, you're not going to think as clearly. You're not going to attract the right things. So I've learned that's a key one. But also, and obviously drinking water is a good one. That's really good for energy. Now, I'm just going to give you some high level ones here today. But the general question is, are you doing things to increase your energy or decrease your energy? But then also we go to the mental side. Who are you hanging out with? Are you taking in the right information? And I'll summarize this one before I go on to the next one, make it super simple as I like to. Who are you hanging out with? Are you taking in the right information? Are you taking the wrong information? Are you listening to the news, spending too much on social media, comparing yourself to others? You're listening to music that makes you feel angry, raw, because music has an impact. You're listening to bitchiness, you're hanging out with people who are negative, or are you hanging out with people who make you have so much energy? I love a podcast interview because my guests are like high energy, got high value to the world. I love it, right? And social media for me is a work in progress. I'm not going to lie. I don't watch the news at all because it's poisonous. Just my personal view. And when I scroll sometimes, I can even get caught in the comparison thing. So just ask yourself those questions. In summary, for energy, between your physical and mental diet, the mental stuff you're taking in mentally, and physical in terms of food, drink, the way you breathe, that's one as well. But physically and mentally, are you doing things dominantly to increase your energy or decrease? And what can you do about shifting that? And just start with a couple of things to add in, a couple of things to take away, even just two altogether, one thing to add in, one thing to take away. Keep it super simple, right? Energy is fundamental to like feeling good, as simple as it sounds. The second thing is your psychology. Now, this is going more into the mental side, but it's like a separate point I want to talk about. Simple way of your psychology and the way you're thinking. Everything we're doing is just words and pictures. Simple way to look at it. My mentor, Justin McClendon, taught me this. So powerful, because we think, okay, right, I've got this part of the brain, that part of the brain, right? We think about this, then I had this trauma, and yeah, all of those things do exist, right? But if you keep it really, really simple in terms of the way you think, just pay attention on this point, in particular, your psychology. What are the words and pictures you're producing more often than not? And often it's subconsciously, automatically. But when you become aware of it and you start making conscious effort to change it, that's when things change. So the words you say to yourself and about other people and about the world, even in your own head, which is the most vital part, are they dominantly positive or are they not so positive, more negative, right? If you're saying, I'm an idiot, oh, I messed that up, even if you don't even realize it, just catch yourself, right? You'll realize it, but it can be a bit of a pattern that you didn't realize you were having. Like, ask yourself, are the words empowering or are they disempowering? Like, oh, that person's pathetic. Oh, look at that joke. Or like, oh, the world's so hard, life's so hard, right? Are those really powerful things? Or is it like, I'm so excited about today, I did a great job on that. I'm excited about my life. I'm doing so amazing at the moment. Like, look at the difference between the two like examples I've given. Like, how much is that going to impact? And it comes back to your energy as well. How are you going to feel differently between the words you're saying? And then the other parts of that, still on the second point, is psychology. The words in your psych. I'm losing my words, talking of words. That's ironic, I guess. Are the pictures. Okay. So we said the words as the psychology, but pay attention to the pictures as well. So are the pictures you put in your head positive or negative? If you think about yourself as a strong, powerful person, lighting up, walking with confidence, striding, making decisions, doing things, that's going to make you feel completely different to if you think like you see yourself as like a loser, like overweight, unpopular, shy. You're going to feel completely different by those different images you create in your head, right? And I do appreciate some people are more visual than others, but we all do visualize. Even like blind people are set to visualize, right? They kind of see things, but like we're all visual, right? So, but obviously, like in the 3D world, we're going to see if depending on our eyesight things differently. But in your head, we're talking about the visuals and that. Okay, so pay attention to words and pictures you're saying, right? Are they going to make you feel good or not so good? And what can you do to change that? And I suggest doing some visualization every single day, like even 5 minutes, saying words and the pictures together, putting the positive ones in. And then when you catch yourself doing the negative ones, looking at that and then changing them. Okay, now my third point that's really make a shift for me in my life is magnetism. What do I mean by that? These are the things I do to move forward. So you can do stuff for your energy, right? You can like eat well, you can think like you meditate, all these kind of things, right? The way you're thinking, the way you're doing, and then you go on to psychology, you start focusing on saying powerful things and seeing powerful things. Great, amazing. But what happens if you don't actually move forward towards your goals and what you want? Well, chances are those first two things I said are going to go negative again because you're not actually doing anything. This is the problem we see with people. Like a classic example, and I've been guilty of this, is you go into maybe a Tony Robbins or personal growth event. I don't tend to go to Tony's events anymore because I'm kind of in a different place, even though it's amazing. But you say you go to a big Tony Robbins, like a big name in personal growth event. Most people come out of there going, yeah, excited, right? I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do this, this, and this because their energy's high, the way they're thinking so good because they're surrounded. And then they go out and they're like, I'm going to become a coach. I'm going to become this. And then like they don't take consistent action. And then the other two go down negative again, right? So you've got to create some kind of system or routine that enables you to take consistent action as well. And the most important part to that is celebrating. So ask yourself this. Have you got a system, a simple system, set of habits? System is like, for me, a system is vital. It's like your habits, how are you putting your habits in place, setting you up to win? So like maybe it is going to the gym. Like your system could be laying your clothes out every morning so that you can go to the gym for a minimum of 20 minutes, right? Not 2 hours if you're beginning at the gym, because then you're going to go, I got to go for 2 hours. But if you go, I've got to go a minimum 20 minutes, you might end up there for 45 minutes, right? Or an hour. So setting yourself up to win with consistent habits. And the other parts of that is don't set yourself, I've been guilty of this as an achiever, right? Don't set yourself too many habits because else that's kind of your brain gets exhausted and then it kind of gives up. So make it very, very simple. And every time you do something, no matter how small, celebrate, get excited, feel that in your body, because the more you celebrate, the more you want to do that. So those are my points that I wanted to share with you today. So my three steps. So again, what we talked about for going from a place like you're feeling defeated, life's hard, and physically and mentally you feel a bit beaten up, to a place where you're thriving, you're feeling good, life's on the up, is looking at your energy, asking yourself, are you doing the right things for energy or are you not? And if you're not, can you change it? Same with psychology. Are you putting in the right words and pictures into your head that make you feel good? If not, what are you going to do to change that? Then thirdly, are you having a consistent set of actions or activities or habits that are enabling you to move towards where you want to go? And then celebrating that along the way. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. And remember, to lead with your heart and not with fear.